I think this is one of those loves that is a platonic, never-ending love, kind of. And it's undeniably important for you to know that I've been an avid user of .NET ever since it was called Project 42. Project 42 was the code project name, and it was called like that because the team existed in a single building back then. Try to picture that, in Building 42 in the Microsoft Redmond campus. And they later renamed it to Project Lightning, which was the code project for the CLR. These days, people know me actually as a cloud architect, but I would probably say that I'm a cloud architect at day and then .NET developer at night. I absolutely love because of its ecosystem, mostly because of the capabilities that are available to you as a developer, especially these days. Unlike .NET 1.0 back in the day, today you can develop from anything like a Tizen OS, a smart device somewhere in your hotel room, down to your wearable devices, down to DRT devices, headless devices, up to the big, chunky, complex distributed applications that run financial applications and whatnot. It's almost like my wife would ask me, did I gain some weight or not? You know what? There are some things that could probably be improved, so to say. Like the naming schema to some point was something that I was having a hard time explaining to my students. I'm also a trainer, and explaining people, yeah, we're at MVC 5 running on .NET 4. The next version is going to be 6, which is not taking the capabilities of 5 because you're going to start from scratch with Core 1, because you know what, we're going to rename it to Core 1, and DNX is going to be .NET, which is not the same as your father's .NET. You know, I think, however, that we're at a good place right now, and the roadmap as it looks is a fantastic roadmap nonetheless. Oh, I think it was last night. I realized that one of my applications, which were Dapper bound, because that was what I was talking about, were not running because of Kubernetes and because of some limited capabilities I was having in sharing some SSL certificates, nonsense like that for ops people, right? I wrote an app for that instead. Look, there are some interesting bugs. Kind of the bugs, it works, I don't know why. It doesn't work, I don't know why, right? But there are some bugs which are like facepalm kind of bugs. And the last facepalm kind of bug was one at some point where I was considering HTTP clients to be so thread safe to some degree that I was having multiple threads all changing the host name of my HTTP client, and my requests were going literally completely all over the place and I had no idea why. Oops. Oh, I love Yash. I absolutely love Yash. Look, it's not only a university city with a very strong atmosphere and feeling, the vibe as an IT community and the vibe with all these youngsters around is fantastic. But the emerging IT industry here in Yash, I think, is absolutely mind-blowing. As for someone who lives literally on the other side of Romania, you'd think something might happen in Bucharest because everything else happens in Western Europe, right? Caveat, I live in Oradea, so for us to go to Vienna is like a 4-hour drive, unlike Bucharest, which is a 10-hour drive. So for us, Yash, honestly, in all due respect, and I apologize for it, was not always on the map. 6 years ago, when I was, for the first time ever in Yash, I was mind blown. And 6 years later, I see an exponential growth in terms of the interest in technology, in community, in bleeding edge. The latest things that are announced are already things that you guys talk about here in your communities. And I think that is, well, hats down to that. It's fantastic. One thing that you guys have managed amazingly to do is get your audience to have questions and interact. So at the end of my presentation, I was like, so did they get distributed apps, or is it really gonna be from horses to automobiles? Are they actually gonna start fiddling and working out with this? And my slide changes because somebody from the tech team changed the slide and the projector. And here's a full list of questions with people interested and paying attention. Honestly, that's the best feeling you can have as a speaker. In my opinion, in Yash and in Cluj, same thing happens. There's an overwhelmingly and super welcoming movement right now to have more individuals of different ages, different genders, and different religions. I see youngsters, I see children in high school attending conferences and user groups and communities. I see old people moving from their curricula and from their profession to become IT developers or software developers. I see female and male all interested in. And in my opinion, the cloud as we know it and software development as we know it right now is going to change in a decade. The cloud will be commodity, will be plumbing, will be just things happening, and we'll just take it for granted. And AI is going to take over the world. If we don't think about it properly and straight, and we don't have diversity and inclusion properly implemented, we're going to have a huge problem in the upcoming AI technologies.